My name is Rian Nallani. I am a 10th grader going to Los Altos High. In my free time, I like writing, doing some stand-up comedy, and yeah. In my sophomore year, I was stressed beyond belief. One moment I was stuck in freshman year going from honor class with minimal amounts of homework, and the next I had multiple AP piles of homework, new expectations to uphold as an older brother, and a sophomore. And I didn't think I was ready for it. I kept pushing all of these emotions down, convincing myself that it was just anxiety. Everybody goes through it. And I was fine. But it was taking so long for me to get fine, I started to wonder if there was a problem with me. My parents would ask me from time to time if I was okay or if something had happened at school, and I always answered that I'm fine or deflected the joke because they could never understand. I mean, even if they did, they couldn't help me. I'd be stuck in the same situation as I am now. The worst case scenario being them getting mad at me for being weak or not a man. My dad was a macho health obsessed father, and my mother was very stubborn lady who would have anxiety spirals over my every problem. So I was trapped. I the pressure started to get more and more. I started missing more homeworks. I started completely forgetting test dates entirely. I was, in a sense, falling apart. 6 months into my sophomore year, I broke. I had a panic attack in front of my parents. The worst possible scenario. Every nightmare up till this point had been this exact position. I was supposed to be strong. I was supposed to be the kid they didn't worry about because I was so steady. But there I was on the kitchen floor in the fetal position, muttering about my future as a psychiatrist, my dreams that were slowly crumbling in front of me. And to my surprise, they didn't get angry or tell me I'm weak or say that I'm being overdramatic. They just told me that everything was going to be okay and that they were there for me. And surprisingly, it calmed me down. For the first time in 6 months, I didn't feel so stressful anymore. I realized that when you hold on to stress for a prolonged amount of time, it only gets heavier. And it's better to dispel that stress extremely soon, as there are people in your life that will catch you when you fall. I've never loved anything more than in that moment. For the first time in probably months, I felt safe.
Okay. Looking back, what was sophomore year like before you realized something was wrong?
Well, there was orientation. You got to, live back with your friends, and you thought that everything was going smoothly. And yeah, and you know how school slowly ramps up homework on you. But at the end of that, at some point, you realize that you really do need to start focusing on your studies and that you have an overwhelming amount of work stacked up.
Okay. Besides school, what other expectations or responsibilities were adding to that pressure?
Oh, well, I hadn't done any volunteer hours yet. I was behind on many extracurricular activities, and I didn't necessarily know which part of the mental health field I wanted to attend. The psychiatrist thing really came later. Everyone was already so much ahead of me everywhere, and it just kind of felt like I had to watch other people live the life that I was supposed to live, and everyone just knew where they were going. Too many people knew where they were going, and just it gets to you after a point. You get like really stressed because you don't know if you're gonna be even successful in the future. And if you don't know where you're going, you're definitely not going to be successful in the future. And you have to start now. And you're so confused on how to start now that, like, you know, it's just a mess. It's very overwhelming. when you're in those states.
Yeah, I get it. Okay. So, when did you first notice that your stress is becoming more than just a busy schedule?
Well, I wouldn't be eating properly. I wouldn't be sleeping properly. I would get nightmares of my future careers failing. I would I was very irritable. I would get I would snap out of nowhere. Um I would go in and out of depressive states. After a while, you can tell that this isn't a normal anxiety problem and that this is really affecting me on both an emotional and physical level. And people around me are starting to, you know, figure that out. And it's 10 times worse when your family members and friends are the ones to see that change in you before you do, because they start getting really worried and you don't understand why, because you think that you're doing such a great job hiding everything and being strong, and then that kind of makes you feel even worse, like maybe you're not acting the way that as good as you thought that you were, right? it's it's worrying for all parties involved.
Yeah, okay. So, as time went on and you still didn't feel better, what thoughts started going through your mind?
Well, started to think maybe maybe I have like a clinical disease. You know, maybe I am uh maybe I have like a mental disease. Maybe I'm bipolar. Maybe uh school isn't the problem, but I'm, you know, at that point it does sound stupid, but I thought that I was a narcissist for not liking school. And yeah, at some point you start you start thinking that school can't be a problem, right? You start thinking that I don't care how stressed you are, you can't not do well in school, right? But uh, for that to happen, school can't be a problem. So you start creating other problems in your head that would make school not being a problem make sense, no matter how, you know, stupid and very not true the the conclusions you come to about yourself are. Yeah.
Okay. So, you also mentioned that your parents would ask if you were okay and that your parents like recognized like these signs before you did. So, what made it so difficult to tell them the truth?
Well, when you're a middle child in an immigrant family, you're not allowed to feel pain. I mean, you are, but you don't want to be a burden because there is your younger brother. He has his problems. There's your older brother. He has to go to college. He has to make a future for himself. And your job is to keep your head down, keep doing well for yourself, because in a way, it does feel like none of your problems matter sometimes. And you're just supposed to be there for the family when you need them, like a shadow government. So I thought by telling people how stressed out I was, I would be, in a way, breaking down everything my family had built and run the family into disarray.
Okay, so as you kept everything bottled up, how did it begin affecting your schoolwork and daily life?
Well, you start to uh hmm, it happens very gradually, right? Well, first of all, you're not sleeping that well. So obviously tests won't automatically give themselves good grades and stuff like that. And no sleep leads to more susceptibility to depressive states. More susceptibility to depressive states leads to more irritability. More irritability leads to you in a parking lot screaming at your friends over a burger. So, yeah, after a while, you start realizing that you're not the person you were when you started pushing everything down, and the stress is compiling, and you're taking it out in ways that you don't want to.
Okay.
So that then you start to like, put the pieces together, and then you realize that maybe it's because of all the stress I'm compiling.
Yeah, okay. So looking back now, why do you think opening up made such a huge difference?
Well, I wasn't holding on to all of that negativity anymore, you know? Uh, I feel like talking to people about your problems is very powerful because you get to let all of that, you know, that stress inside out, and other people can hold it for you. And with that, not only do you get closer to other people, you feel more safer and you feel more hope for the future. Like imagine you're trying to build, I don't know, a boat by yourself, and you have to carry so much weight up, like a boat on top of a mountain, and you have to carry so much weight up that mountain every single day. And one day, you voice your concerns to the people, and then the people all join in, and they start helping you to build that boat. You would feel much more confident in finishing it in a year. No, you would feel much more confident that you will get there because there are people to catch you in your fall. There's people to take your place when you just can't do it that day. There are people that will build that boat with you together.
Okay. So this is just the last question, but if someone was watching this and they were afraid to ask for help because they'll think that they'll be judged, what would you want them to hear?
It's better to be judged than to hold on to stress for a prolonged amount of time because judging will hurt you if you let it. Holding on to that stress will biologically and mentally slowly decay your body.
Okay, thank you so much, Rian.
Thank you so much.